Hello everyone, Soapy Ferret here, and I am back with some more Endless Legends, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about it a little bit. The first thing we should talk about is when I ended the last episode, I talked to you guys about how I was going to say more things about the Wild Walkers, specifically, and I was also going to explain to you guys how expansion worked. I'm going to do that a little bit later, but I'm going to do that. Expansion works very differently in this game than in other games. One of the biggest things being that because there is an approval system, expansion disapproval is a very. Expansion disapproval is a very big deal. People disapproving of your expansion could lose you a lot of happiness. So you basically want to build up happiness before you get your expansion disapproval on. But for right now, I have temporarily pleased the people of Evrone, and with this sewer system, I'm going to get 20 more approval in this city. The Dust Dredger is going to give me +2 dust production on terrain with river during the summer season. I'll explain to you what happens in the winter season when it rolls around, because it's a fairly big deal in this game. We're on turn 10 now. Actually, let's go look at our tech real quick. Alchemist Furnace, so I can start getting strategetic resources. Mercenary Market, so I can get openings to the market. Empire Mint, so I can get more dust production. This, so I can get more luxury resources. I'm also going to grab the Shaman. So there are 4 types of units in this game, and this is directly relating to the Shaman. There's infantry, cavalry, ranged, and support. Support units are usually low damage units that can heal or provide crowd control. Infantry units are like your front line, obviously. Cavalry units are high attack, high movement, high initiative, low defense, low life creatures that can do very well. The Wild Walkers don't actually have a cavalry unit. We only have infantry, support, and ranged, where our base units are ranged. We get the Tene Walker, which is our infantry, and we get the Agache Shaman, who's our support. But cavalry units are pretty nice to have. We're not gonna have any though. I'm not a big fan of cavalry units personally. They just don't really seem that good, especially when you're working with a group like this where your infantry are your big, scary units, and your ranged units are your big attackers, the main things you're going to want attacking things. So, yeah, that's why we're probably not... the Haunts. We found them. So, we have to kill the Haunts, is basically what we're going to have to do in order to finish this quest. That's not the quest. That's the quest. Locate the Haunts village, which has a marker on it, and destroy it. That will give us 10 Quicksilver, of which we will need because we don't actually... Quicksilver's a luxury, so a luxury resource would be nice to have, though. So we're going to attack the Haunts, and this is going to get us into my favorite part of this game, the combat. Yeah. So, as you can see, the combat map is actually... The combat map is actually based around the terrain that you're in. That's the easiest way to explain it. So this is the deployment phase. I'm allowed to pick where I want to deploy my units. As you can see, these people are ranged 4, so I can shoot 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one is only a ranged 3, but it is a hero unit, so that's going to be nice. I'm also going to want to try and stick these guys in forests, actually, because of the Forest Rage ability, which will give them more damage, if I'm correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forest Rage, plus 50% attack on forest tiles. So, yeah, I kind of want the Forest Rage stuff. So if I take it off... Okay, it's not going to modify attack in deployment. So we're going to ready up. This is the targeting phase. So you basically pick what you want to hit what. Now, when you do this, if, say, I were to barrel down on this ended, if this ended were to die before my hero took its turn, my hero would determine what it thinks is the best possible action to take and take it. In this case, the best possible action would probably be to shoot the other ended. But you never really know. So, just be careful. I actually really don't like where I placed this person. I could have placed him over there. I've got a lot of different things, though. Army boosts, industry efficiency. That's for if this person decides to govern a city. You can place your heroes with armies, or you can place your heroes with cities. In this case, I'm taking the army because I need to be getting around right now and taking out stuff and making friends. So we're going to go through the first round, where we kill, we do a decent bit of damage to the haunts. Okay, so the haunts have an ability called Chain Lightning. What it does is, you know, it hits the first person and then bounces. Big surprise. I really don't like that haunt is right there. But I can kill off everything else before that haunt has a chance to kill. I got my... So that haunt got my ranger units. I probably could have saved them, but this is early enough in the game that losing a unit or two, because I'm not in like a full-scale war, is not the biggest of deals. Making units is not that terrible of or that difficult of a thing to do. So what we're going to do, now that we've done that, is we're going to go back and we're going to parlay with this tribe again, then we're going to assimilate them whenever we have enough influence. Influence is your diplomatic prowess with anything. That is also something that fuels a mechanic that I'll show you guys in about 9 turns, because it happens every 20 turns, and it's easier to show and explain than to try and explain off the bat. Okay, my dust dredger is finished, which means I should be, yeah, okay, so I'm gathering dust from these spaces, which is nice, which means I can expand here instead of here next time, and still get pretty close to there. So we're going to parlay. Oh, did I not complete the... Oh, Mana, locate the right Haunts village. Oh, I must have located the wrong Haunts village. Well, there couldn't be another one in that direction, so it has to be up. That's not the game's fault. That's my fault. That was kind of dumb of me. I didn't think that there would be another Haunts village. Oh, it might be up there. Oh, that wouldn't be as fun. So our sewer system's going to get done, then our settler's going to get done, and I'm going to be able to explain to you guys that. I'm not going to put everything on food anymore. I'm going to put a little bit more on production, so that way I can get things made a little bit quicker. But I'm still making units at a pretty quick rate, or making workers at a pretty quick rate, so I'm not too worried. What do I want to do then? Let's go here. Let's see what we find. That is a Haunts village. In fact, that is the Haunts village that we need to fight at. And actually, I think we can fight this one pretty easily. Okay, that's nice. So, as you can see in the pre-screen before the fight, it will say something that, like, I was at a disadvantage here. But I don't think that's true. 1, 2, 3. You don't really need the Forest Rage, because you don't have it, so you don't. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're gonna do this. We're going to double down on that person. We're all going to attack it. Actually, this might have been a bad idea. This was definitely a bad idea. So, I got a little overzealous because I thought that I could use cliffs to my advantage, where I am horrifically wrong. But this does allow us to explain something, and that is that injured units do the same amount of damage as units at full health. So this is not your Civilization, this is more your StarCraft, where if your roach is at half health, that doesn't mean it's not going to keep shooting things. Did you upgrade? Or no, it's just telling me that you're disabled for 20 turns. So when a hero dies, it takes 20 turns for it to come back. There are certain things that can change that, but in this case, I can't really. So we are going to have to put off that settler for a little bit. Let's open up the construction queue a bit more. This is basically where you do a lot of your construction stuff. This is the current forces sitting in here. This is the hero assigned to your village. So, yeah, let's do that. If I move you over there, okay, cool. I'm still gonna get a population in two turns, so we are going to keep that there. And now we're just gonna work on rangers, because we kind of need them. The mercenary market has opened up. That's good. You can buy mercenaries on the market. I am going to buy one. I'm actually going to buy a rumbler. The reason for that being that this is a big infantry unit. It's very scary, it's a little slow, and it doesn't have a lot of initiative. By initiative, doesn't have a lot, I mean it has none. But it will soak up hits, which is what I need right now. So we're just gonna buy them off the mercenary market. You can have up to 4 units in a patrol. Oh crap. Find and destroy the village. Aw, I failed. Well, crap. So I failed that mission, which means somebody else must have killed the Haunt Village. Probably the necrophages that are sitting in this area. Speaking of which, I'm going to need to take this soon if I want to not lose it to the necrophages. That cost a bit too money. You can speed up production with dust, but it costs a lot of dust to do stuff like that. Like, if you were looking there, it cost me 478 to finish up these settlers. And that is a little bit too much for me, considering I only have 267. Oh, yes. Empire Plan Development. What this lets you do is it lets you spend influence points to give you bumps to your empire. So do I want to be more militaristic and get a bump to unit cost reduction? Do I want to be more economic and get more money? Do I want to give more unit or vision to my units? Actually, I might want to do that. Or give my cities more science. I think I'm going to go with cost reduction to units. Just because I'm probably going to be making a lot of units. Now, why would this settler? Oh, because... Okay, settlers do count as army units in this game, which does change a lot. So I cannot make a settler... So I cannot make a settler unit while there are 4 units inside of the village. As you could expect from most things, you can't make other units either. So since I failed this parlay, I am going to have to fight these people. But, because I have militia nearby, it will be a 4-on-6 fight. One I'm very confident I can win. So we're going to try and stick to the forests, because the forests will give us a defensive boost. And we're also going to try and focus down 1 unit. That's how I like to play it. I don't know if other people like to do it that way, but this is how I tend to do it, just because it's, like I said, you know, a unit with full health does the same amount of damage as a unit with none. Well, virtually none. I mean, if it has 0 health, then technically it's not going to be doing any damage, but you get my point. So I set this guy to hold position so that he would just stand here, but now that they've moved up a little bit, I have a fairly decent grasp of how they're going to go. So we're going to change everything around. I'm also going to be focusing on these guys so that I hopefully don't lose this ranger, but they go first, so I probably will. Oh god. They might actually end up picking me apart here. What will most likely be the thing that saves me is that I have the ogre who is going to be doing quite a bit for me here. Yeah, this is not the best situation to be in. But it's not the worst. So those guys are going to die. These guys... So the way counterattacking works in this game is that if you attack a unit, it has the ability to counterattack if it has not attacked already that turn. The difference with Techites is that they get free counters. Can counter once more. So they get an extra free counter. So if they don't attack, they get 2 free counters in a turn, whereas the rest of us don't. That's why Techites are considered to be very good, even though they are a range 2 ranged unit, which is not very good at all. So Techites are dead. I did lose 2 Dakari Rangers, probably because I controlled a bit poorly. And these militiamen did die. The militiamen I'm not too worried about because they respawn in like a turn. So they're fine. But the Dakari Rangers I am a little upset about. I guess I should remake. Anyway, not the point right now. As you'll see, I'm making a settler. Settlers take up all of your food production, so you will not be producing food during the time that you are making a settler. So you might as well just stick your people on creation of other things. Also, when it comes to expanding a certain city, like this city, I can expand it by using a burrow, which is something that allows me to... It's a city street, basically. I add an extra street to the city, I expand my walls, and I make it better. The problem with doing this constantly is that it does give you a -2 on the city, or a -10 to approval on that city tile. But as you can see, it says +15 per level on city tile. The way to level up a city tile is to make it, or is to surround it with other cities. So if there are 4 other borough streets or base cities surrounding a certain borough street tile, it will level up. And that is how you maintain approval while still being expansive. So I did end up killing them. That's fine. If you kill them or if you parlay with them, it doesn't matter. You can still assimilate them and make units and build on their place. It's just that parlaying involves you dying less. That's pretty much it. They appear to be an arid wasteland. There's Orange. We know Orange is a Draken because he introduced himself to us at the beginning of the game. Since Draken know where everybody spawns, so we already know where he is. With noble empires such as yours, the future of Algria is assured. Higher number of cities, higher global score. Damn. I tend to get a little bit behind in global score in the very beginning because I'm more worried about some other stuff at first. I also really don't like that. So the Wild Walkers have a special ability that allows them to see enemies who are in places that they can't see. Near their borders, though. Not everywhere. If he expands there... Oh, me and him are going to have words. So he expanded there. me and him, subsequently, are going to probably fight. Which will be a good little experience for you, because you're going to see how war works. Well, necrophages cannot be peaceful. Necrophages have no ability to declare peace. So, we, as the people we are, what do you have there? Drakenlings? Just Drakenlings. Alright, we're gonna hope that the Drakenling people, or the Draken, don't declare war on me in this turn. This is a lot more intense than anything else we have to... Oh, shit. So that is the minor faction around these parts. We're going to try not to get into a fight with them, because settlers will fight. You don't want them to, though, because it's really bad for you. Because settlers don't fight well. They fight. They don't fight well. And we're going to haste to Dakari, Ranger. Just so that way we have a little bit more protection for ourselves. And then we're going to work on the basic stuff, seed storage, empire mint, that kind of stuff. We're also going to section off a new army for these Dakari. And we're going to start marching on the necrophage city of Umalna. As I was saying, the necrophages cannot be peaceful, ever. They're not allowed to. The game does not allow them. This is similar to a faction in Endless Space, but the difference between being peaceful and being rude, I would like to declare war. The difference between being peaceful and being rude is that you don't have to be rude, you do have to be, you can't be peaceful, but you can not be rude. Agria is big enough for the both of us, I think. I believe. And I would be happy to not fight you on it. You are my ally, and I like you. These guys, however, I don't like. They only have militiamen here. So this is going to be a real easy fight. Militiamen go down very, very quickly. Do. We start the turn, they all automatically target it because it's the only thing on the field. So, there is armor in this game. If your city is being attacked, you do have armor. And what armor does is it absorbs enough hits until it's gone, like most armor. But what it also does is if you have 11 armor and your opponent does 45 damage to you, your armor takes all of that damage and then disappears. You don't take any health damage, which is an important distinction to make. Because it could be the difference between winning and losing. We're going to make titanium. We're also going to make a sewer system. And some seed storage stuff. So they're in rebellion. Because they don't like me. So it's going to take them a little bit. Whenever you capture a city, this is the percentage of ownership the current empire has. And the ownership increases automatically up to 100% and decreases the disapproval from conquest of cities. Some actions can only be performed with an ownership of 100% like raise or resettle. So I can't raise this city, I can't resettle this city. I own 0% of it currently. But as the turns go by, I will own more of it. So we are just going to keep on going. Yes, I will put aside my list for conquest, if you want to call a truce. Alright, not acceptable. Fair enough. I am going to compliment these people. Because I like them. And by like them, I mean I don't want to die to them. The Draken are about the only person right now whom I fear. And so, and as such, I don't want to get on their bad side. My hero is disabled for 3 more turns. The second she isn't, I'm going to be equipping her to this group. And because the necrophages do not want to call off the war, I will be continuing an aggression upon the necrophages. And this is where I start having problems with the game. Not problems as in I can't do it, but problems as in this is a little questionable. Because as you can see right now, I'm attacking these guys early, and they're not going to be able to stop us. And that's it. They're just not. They didn't build any armies, but they decided to get heavily expandy. And maybe that's just how that works, but you can easily get expandy and build armies at the same time. As you saw when I made my settler and I made my 3 Dothraki Rangers beforehand. Granted, I didn't get here before he did. I gotta give him that much. But at the same time, was it really worth it on his part? Because it doesn't seem like it was. And it's kind of what, yeah, that's, like I said, that's where my problem gets. These guys will get expandy, but they won't get expandy in the smart way. They won't have something to back up their expanding. They'll just expand. Oh, this person's fine. They didn't level up. So we're going to inspect you. What equipment are you carrying? Change that up. Change that up. Change that up. Okay. Then we're going to apply this. So here you can see I can assign it to an army or a city. We're going to assign it to my army, the Red Bear Warriors. And since we're headed on 20 minutes, I'm going to cut it here. In the next episode, you are going to see me start working on the necrophages and start basically killing them. Thank you all very much for watching. Like this video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you want to see more of it, because this is what we do. You should also check out our channel, see what else we do. I do StarCraft with Bronx. Bronx is a buddy of mine who I do StarCraft with. He hasn't been around very much lately because of school, but hopefully he'll be back pretty soon. And that's all, and I love you all very much. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.